Cool. So this is Jason. I'm from Über Rock, and I'm with Jared from Rivers of Nihil. And yeah, so thanks for taking your time out, and hope we'll have a good chat. Just sort of go through all the latest developments with Rivers of Nihil.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah. So as we were discussing, like with the lead up to the interview and stuff, like so primarily I want to obviously talk about the work, because I had the pleasure of reviewing it earlier on this year. Thoroughly enjoyed that. I've been a fan of you guys mainly since Well the Owls Know My Name. That's, I think, that was one that really caused like a lot of waves in the UK, and following on from that, I started seeing you guys a little bit more frequently in Manchester. So yeah, the main thing, like obviously with the times that we're in at the moment, so did you have like any sort of like difficulties with putting this album together with the various like lockdowns and social distancing stuff? Did you run any sort of significant difficulty with it?
It was kind of difficult since I live on the other side of the country from them. So basically, Brody and I would just communicate, and he would send files and music to me, and then I would ask him for click tracks, and I would just, play drums to that. Also trying to keep in mind with what Biggs told me. He told me that I would be singing a lot more on this album. So there were some parts that I, thought that I would sing, and then also I would be like, I'll just do me, and then I will learn the parts when I need to, because Biggs writes the lyrics and stuff like that. And then we improvised and figured out vocal placements together in the studio. So yeah, I like stressed myself out basically trying to figure out what I could do, or what I should do anyway.
Yeah.
And then it all just came out naturally the way that I wanted it to in the studio. And then I did the vocal parts, and then I learned them. So I just, as a person who thinks too much, I put a lot of stress on myself for no reason.
Yeah. So overall, like the songwriting approach with this album, it's something that you'd already been through a few times then, I got to take it.
Yeah. Yeah, we did the same thing with Where Owls Know My Name. I also do that with other bands. They'll send me files, and then I'll just learn the music, and then knock it out in the studio. But yeah, pretty much just, yeah, like once we were finally able to go to the studio, it felt really good because, we haven't seen each other for a year, maybe more. So yeah, we recorded in November of last year. So
yeah,
kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, for even in the UK, we were in like November was the middle of the lockdown. So a lot of us were completely isolated and relegated to our apartments. So that sucked. So I can only imagine the sort of difficulties you guys were having in the States as well. The one thing that really strikes me about the work though, when I was listening to it, is it's how like different it is compared to Owls, because like Owls had really big vibes with, obviously with the saxophone, the psychedelic element and stuff with it, whereas the work felt a lot more varied. There was still like very experimental parts, including a keyboard solo that sounded like Rick Wright from Pink Floyd, which I thought was pretty great. And then obviously, there is like some saxophone in it and stuff like that, but it's more used for layering as opposed to like just being like, haha, we've got the sax bit. So was there like a specific reason for that? Like, or did you just feel that it was natural to sort of progress on from where Owls put you and then going from there?
From what I remember, Brody, I mean, we were all talking about not putting saxophone on the next album, but that was during the Owls tour cycle, like in the pretty much at the beginning of it or in the middle. So we ended up, having Zach come back in and, just try to see what he wanted to do and what he could do. And we kind of went with that instead of dropping the whole idea. But yeah, I think was like a decision to chop the saxophone in the back of our heads, I guess. But yeah, I'm glad we kept it. And I'm glad we went along with it and decided to continue to, have sax, because Zach's an amazing player and a good person. And he, it's good to have that a part of it. And also it brings like a whole new element to it. Cause before that, before his parts came in, before he recorded them, excuse me, it sounded a little empty, not gonna lie. So yeah, it was cool to, feel that part come to life and see it in person.
So with recording with the work and writing it as well, did you feel like an element of pressure to sort of follow up with the sort of success that Where Are the Owls Know My Name had? Because like I say,
Yeah.
So many people I knew and followed and everything like that, they really, really, really did like talk up the album a lot. And sort of it seemed like it caused so much of a splash that trying to follow up with that, I can imagine you guys must have had some sort of pressure to sort of follow through with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure. We were all thinking very nervous. We all thought like that we're not like, how are we going to top Owls? How are we going to do this? So we were all very skeptical, I guess. Biggs and I did a lot of singing on the last album, which was really scary to put out there for the both of us. And then now we're doing it even more. So that was even scarier to actually put that out. So excuse me.
It's all right.
Let's see. Yeah, I was scared, truthfully. I think we all were, and we got it out, we got it done, and people ended up liking it more than we anticipated. Like we made jokes here and there, but like in hindsight, it's kind of like, oh, we're just nervous and like sad, thinking that we're not going to actually do it, So I'm glad with what we released, and I'm very happy with it, truthfully.
Is there any sort of track that's on the album that really stands out that you're specifically proud of?
I personally think I love Maybe One Day, because I do a lot of singing on that, and the lyrics kind of strike home. I mean, it would strike home with anybody, It also made my parents cry when I showed them, so that means a lot.
Yeah. Oh, that's really wholesome. I like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they love the whole album, but they always go back to Maybe One Day. Terrestria 4, that is kind of different. I know it's like mostly like shoegaze black metal on some parts, but there are a lot of fills in there. I did repeat some fills on purpose, and I also brought in some like drum and bass fills that I never thought I would use or like anything like that. And then also towards the end of Terrestria 4, I brought back previous drum beats from the previous Terrestrias to make it more relevant, and so you could like a callback, I guess. So you could call back like the beginning of Terrestria 1 is just like a straight up, just like a death metal beat. So then I just brought that in there, and then like the blast beats just to make it more familiar is what I was getting at. I don't know. The whole album's, I'm very happy with the whole album, truthfully. So,
and like I say, it's a fantastic album. It's like it's good that like 2021 for some reason has been like an extremely like impressive year for a lot of releases from a lot of different bands and stuff, and it's kind of nice, I guess, to some extent, that so much good has actually come out of what was a really, really bad year on the whole for a lot of people. So thank you very much. I appreciate the everything about the album, and I love it. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
But also, so hitting on a little bit more on sort of touring. So you you relatively recently you completed a tour through the States. I can't remember how many dates it was. It was quite a few though, I think, wasn't it?
I believe it was like 36, something like that.
Yeah, so it's very extensive date. And you were supposed to come over roughly about now, I think, for the Faces of Death tour, weren't you? With I think it's like a Legion, Black Crown Initiate, and Archspire, I think it was.
Yep, and To the Grave from Australia.
Yeah, so it's a shame that that's been like knocked back again, because I was really looking forward to that myself.
Me too.
So it would have been good to see you guys on stage again. You always knock it out the park in Manchester, and like especially at the Rebellion venue, which is where I've seen you a bunch of times.
Oh yeah, I like that place.
Yeah, it's great. It's one of my favorite venues here. But like it's the right sort of size for a band to be like in your face, and obviously you guys can see everyone going crazy in the pit in front of you. But with regards to like so touring the new album and new stuff and everything, so how's it been, the audience response? Is there any sort of standout so like a track where you've played it and you've just been like, wow, I didn't expect like people to go that mad to it?
Yeah, like for Clean, I didn't really know how people would react. We played Clean, Void, and Focus live. I wasn't really sure how people would, like react to any of those. And people actually came up to me and was like, oh, I thought somebody was like featured on your album to sing those parts that I sang. And it like blew their mind that I was singing on stage. So like that was cool to, like sometimes drummers aren't noticed, so that was cool. And also like seeing the crowd response to Clean, like during the heavier parts, and also like during the Pink Floyd-esque keyboard solo or synth solo, people were like vibing to that and enjoying themselves. And like like we were, kind of same thing with releasing the music itself. We were kind of like, are people gonna want to like listen to Owls and like previous stuff? And it ended up working out. So people were going ham, and it meant a lot to see that.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's good to hear, because I mean, like say with friends that I've spoken to around here that I've listened to the work and stuff like that, they talk those particular tracks up as well. So I imagine like when you come across like to Europe and the UK eventually, I can imagine you'll get a pretty similar response here. So
oh yeah,
I'll be looking forward to that.
People are going ham, then we're stoked. So
yeah, but I was supposed to actually do this interview a little bit earlier on in the tour as well, but from what I got told, I think you hit some difficulties. So was it fairly like, was there like some difficulties along the way for various reasons, like the van was having issues, or did you run into a lot?
I think, well, like the first week was kind of nerve-wracking because like we didn't really know what we had to like get back into the groove of everything, and didn't really know what we were doing anymore. So it took me a while to like get back into the flow of it and like set up my kit at a decent time, and like because COVID kind of threw us all off, like being stuck at home. And I did get lazy at times, so like I tried to like set up my kit at a reasonable time. Like after that first week I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. And like on stage we'd be done and I'd be like, oh, I should get all my stuff off stage. And then people were there to help. And it was like, whoa. So, yeah, it took me a while to get back into the flow, like I was saying, but, yeah, I don't think we had any problems. We were just trying to focus on playing the best show that we could play.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Good. That's awesome. And like I said, one of the surprising dates that you've got booked in for next year, as you mentioned, is Arctangent, which is a hell of a festival for you guys to be playing at. Admittedly, I didn't actually expect you guys to pop up on a festival like that, even though it's it aims very much towards like left field sort of stuff. So stuff that's like always like fits in like off the beaten track, where it's not like, so you wouldn't put like a straight death metal band on there. You would put like someone who does like all the weird sort of extra bits that you guys do, for example. So like seeing you guys on there is fantastic. So I can't wait to see you guys there as well, because I'll be there for that as well.
Awesome. Yeah, it'll be cool to meet. I've been stoked to play this for a long while, because I think we rescheduled like 3 times, and we were put on there like before the work came out, and we were actually going to play during 2020, like in the summer, something like that. So sadly it didn't work out, but then it got pushed. So I'm really stoked that we're doing the festival markets and stuff like that in Europe, because I don't think any of us have ever done it. So it'll be our first time doing that.
So are you set to play like I don't know, like Metal Days, Brutal Assault, those sort of ones and stuff? Yeah, they'll be good ones. I've heard that. I've not actually been to like a proper European outdoor festival yet, but I've heard that their crowds are a little bit unhinged, to say the least.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've watched videos of people playing like Brutal Assault and stuff like that, or like Hellfest or something. And I'd sit there and be like wowed at the crowd, just like, whoa, like I want to be on that stage. I want to like play music with people that I look up to, you know? So I'm glad that it's came to be, and, you know, I thankful to be a part of it, and that people enjoy our music. Yeah,
that's like I said, hopefully I'll be seeing you there and everything. I might bump into you in the crowd or something, maybe milling around and stuff. So yeah, it'd be good to hang out, have a couple of beers.
Sounds good to me.
But yeah, so the last thing I really want to start talking about is like band dynamics. So like we touched on a little bit when you were talking about the album writing process and everything. But one thing I like asking people is like, is there any sort of ideas that you like partially developed or had in your head that you would have liked to have put into a track but never actually made it onto an album?
I don't know. There are a couple of songs that didn't make the album, didn't make the cut, and they were like too weird. Not in a bad way, but I don't think they fit with the rest of the album, you know? So I don't know. I've been talking to Brody about possibly releasing those that not released, but yeah, we've all just been focusing on our lives lately, so we haven't really kept in touch till we need to. And I always hit everybody up here and check in on them, because you know, I love the dudes. So but yeah, I think there are a couple things that I would like to release personally, and if they don't want to, then maybe I could do like a drum thing for like Meinl or something like that, Meinl cymbals. And but yeah, it's kind of like a weird funk song that I really am fond of, and it's so weird that I would like to release that.
It's good because like sometimes I like to get like an insight into where someone has ideas but they've got like not necessarily a specific outlet for it. So that's cool to know, so thank you very much. But right, I think that's basically sort of drawing it to a close, really. So so thank you very much. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, so hopefully see you next year. Hang out maybe at a couple of shows. If you're in Manchester, I will definitely be there as well.
Absolutely.
So brilliant. Anyway, so I'll go hit the stop button, and then that'll be that.